Now here are the figures I was talking about.
A couple of them still painting, some are finished.
A couple of them still painting.
Here we have the ethereal. Here we have the ethereal.
I got this guy a while back.
I got this guy.
I worked at a comic book store. And we used to get credit and stuff for damaged figures and get credit and stuff like that for damaged figures, the other ones and stuff like that.
Well, we
didn't.
Supposed to get rid of the other ones.
Well, we didn't. So I got him. So I got
his arm
him,
was all miscast.
and his arm was all miscast.
So what I did was,
there's a bunch of green stuff under here.
There's a bunch of green stuff under here.
Have like a loose arm shape.
Part of his dawn blade sticking out.
Part of his dawn blade sticking out.
And then I went back with green stuff. This is probably the first time I went back with green stuff.
Messed with
probably
green
the first
stuff.
time I tried to make a robe.
Messed with green
I know it's not
stuff.
perfect.
Tried to make a robe.
I know it's not perfect,
It
but
looks better than the figure would without with a gimpy.
Looks
arm.
better than the figure would with a gimpy arm.
Now this was kind of one of my first attempts at painting again too. One of my first attempts at painting again too. But there's my one ethereal. I want the ethereal on hoverboard. There's my one ethereal. I want the ethereal on hoverboard because he looks wicked too.
I wanted to make for my. I wanted to make
for my display stand.
My
commander
display stand
out of his suit.
A commander.
So what I did was
try
try to figure out the best way to do it.
So what I did was try to figure out the best way to do it.
I didn't want to do your typical.
And I was like, I didn't want to do your typical.
In like a fire warrior carapace, all that stuff.
Like a fire warrior carapace, all that stuff,
and try to just
distinguish them that way, or use a tanker.
Distinguish them that way, or use a tanker.
So what I did was I bought an Imperial Guard.
What I did was I bought an Imperial Guard
command box set,
and I used the command figure.
And I used
the command
cut it
figure.
off just above the boots.
That is, cut it off just above the boots.
Cut off some towel legs.
Cut off some towel.
Glued them on the bottom.
Glued them on the bottom. Bits
from other things, like the pistol
from the Pathfinders. Like the pistol from the Pathfinders.
Think this is a Pathfinder dagger.
This is a Pathfinder dagger
that I'm using as a
honor blade.
But
the shoulder pad, the arms are
the
from
shoulder pad,
the Imperial Guard set.
Are from.
I just cut towel hands off and glued them on. I just cut towel hands off and glued them on.
Both sides same way.
And then of course just a typical towel head.
And then of course just a typical towel head.
So I gotta get a little better at freehanding like this.
Symbols. I like the kind of rough look of the painted symbols.
Though. Makes him look like a soldier who put them on there himself.
Makes him look like a soldier.
But this is my commander.
This is my commander.
My high
Call
commander.
him Captain Glova.
Like Captain Glova from Macross. So
Macross.
That is him out of his suit. And then we have a
couple other I've done.
Another guy. I thought about using this guy as a tank commander. I want to do some more work to him, towel him out more.
His
hands,
this is a towel hand.
Now his hands, this is a towel hand.
Is a human hand.
This one is
the Imperial
Guard
set.
I just shaved off the
last
finger and trimmed it out a little bit.
And did the same thing down here, cut the feet off.
Cut the feet off on. And then put towel legs on.
Like I said, I might make him a tank commander.
He just has a tank commander
kind of feel.
And then here I got another towel commander, captain type. He's got complete Imperial Guard torso, arms, hands even. I think even this hand might be Imperial Guard. Yeah, it is. And I cut again. I cut off the last finger here. I trimmed off the last finger there. You can still kind of see a little bit of it in there. So, but anyway, same thing. Cut off the boots and glued on some towel legs. Really happy with the way these turned out. It's kind of nice to have a it's military still, but non-decked out military figure. Someone who can definitely pass as like a captain or something, some officer, I like it. With my diorama, I want to have all kinds of, this is going to be an Earthcast member, I want to have them just doing all kinds of stuff. I want to eventually make up some, just like I said, civilian types to have on there and see what like a community would look like. But for this, it's a jungle fighter figure, Imperial Guard, Kachkin jungle fighter. It's his arms. Again, cut off his hands, Sorry about the wash. The wash went crazy on this one. Oh, and look, I just broke it. Yep. So, he's been sitting in a box for a while. But it's the Kashyyyk Jungle Fighter arms. Hands cut off of another Tau. Same for this one. This is the one reloading a rail rifle. Same thing with the legs again. Need to do some trimming on this one. I really need to fix this guy up more. I think I rushed him too much. I was too in a hurry to have a earth cast, so I just kind of jumped in on him. Fix his arm. So, yeah, I mean, otherwise, it's a good figure. I like what he's doing. Looks like he's like working on something. So, I honestly wish things like Forge World maybe would put out like secondary figures that weren't necessarily like non-combatant figures for people who like making models and dioramas. So this right here, I so wish they did this in the book, but I understand, you take your Pathfinders to get it. But this is a Fire Warrior with his rail rifle. Hey, look, he just looks so mean, man. He looks like he's ready to go. I hadn't put the shoulder pad on him yet. I was debating on whether or not I was going to do it, but I probably will. I think I need to. He does look pretty cool like that. So, these are just my mini conversions, nothing fancy. Can't remember if I showed this one or not, but this is my defense turret. It was going to be on top of the cliff on the display board I'm building. Pretty easy on what it is. It's an egg. It's the bottom half of an egg, an Easter egg, a giant Easter egg. I cut it out, built a frame for the gun because the gun can swivel. So what I did is, you can't see it in there anymore because I painted in there pretty good. But I have a base, piece of plastic card that comes up on both sides to make a cradle, and then a plastic rod that goes through, drilled all the way through, so that way it can pivot up and down. I like doing little dumb things like this, things that I wouldn't necessarily use in the game, but they add just something to my display in my army. And then several years ago, I guess while we're on the Easter egg thing, I had got an Easter egg and started messing around with it, didn't know what I was going to do to it, and I had glued a bunch of sensor spines onto the back of it, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with this? And then one day, when I first, maybe a year ago, started getting back into 40K, I just had a wild hair and started decking it out. So I made it a terrain piece, objective marker, whatever you want to call it. But essentially here you have half an eggshell. Got a little sensor thing back here. There's your sensor spines on it. And I built up on the inside. I didn't really paint up in there because you're not going to see that part too much. But part of a drone. Have the other piece kind of broke off over here, like it exploded out. Jump packs from the old Crisis suits. That piece right here, this black piece, is part of a super glue bottle. I think there's another part of a super glue bottle in there too. And I put some just rigid foam in there to kind of bulk it out and keep everything all separated. Of course, bark from a tree. This is baking soda for the snow. Baking soda mixed with white glue and white paint. And then put all that down, and then I went back over it and sprinkled baking soda over the top so it dried real good. But as you can see, there's my Macross logo, my sept symbol, just random markings, more sensor bits up front here, just kind of bulk. So anyway, this is a deep space drone. I use it as an objective marker, and I use it as kind of a part of my fluff history on how my Tau got to the planet they're at. they went out and searched for this drone because it got lost, and they had a sensor beacon from it, and they found a planet with a power source. I have a whole big storyline on the planet. I may get into that later about how the month cycles, like how half the time it's covered in snow and ice, the other half of the time it's almost completely covered in water. But anyway, we'll talk about that some other time. But it's fun. I had a blast doing all these conversions and stuff. Man, I tell you, this is like the favorite part of this hobby is the conversions, man. And then the community, the people. Tons of awesome cats out there. Ones that just you learn so much from, man. I'm just going to show a close-up of this, too. Really fun paint job on this guy. I'm going to add that extra snow to it later on. My daughter really wants to do an unboxing from her Tyrannid, her Hive Tyrant. Hopefully we'll get that done here soon. I really want her to start painting that, especially she's going to do color scheme like that. The carapaces, what's going to happen is like the smaller creatures in her army are all going to have kind of the same color carapace, but the larger, more monstrous creatures and things like that, the Hive Tyrants, the Carnifexes, the Tervagons or whatever they're called, the bigger creatures are going to have, their carapaces are going to be different. They'll still have the same skin or whatever you want to call it, but the rest of their bodies will be different, like the actual carapace part of them. She said she might do some of them like multicolored, where it'll go like fading from like blues to greens to red, white, yellows or something like that. She's really gung-ho in this. She doesn't have a lot of time to sit down and do it with school and stuff, but when she does, she gets into it a lot. So anyway, guys, I thank you for watching my videos. Thank you all for putting out videos of your own. I'm going to give a shout out to some people, probably my next video, just because they have super awesome videos that I enjoy watching. I wish I could name you all right now, man. But I thank you so much for all the inspiration you give us, guys, and help us into the hobby. And hopefully I can show you what I do, and hopefully it inspires you to do what I did, but even better, because I ain't that great. But thank you, guys. Thank you to Nick from Idicbeers, and thank you Mel from Terrain Tutors for all the inspiration you give me. There's many more, and I'll definitely give you a shout out later. Take it easy.